Hello everybody. The end of an era. Sonny Corinthos faces his darkest hour as arrest looms and death threatens in General Hospital. A shocking turn of events threatens Port Charles' most notorious mobster. The fictional town of Port Charles is buzzing with tension as one of General Hospital's most beloved characters, Sonny Corinthos, finds himself trapped in a web of suspicion, betrayal, and mortal danger that could spell the end of his ride and possibly his life. What began as another chapter in the mob boss's tumultuous existence has evolved into what many fans believe could be Maurice Benard's farewell storyline after more than 3 decades of portraying the complex character. Anna's suspicions lead to devastating consequences. Police Commissioner Anna Devane's investigation into Natalia Rogers Ramirez's mysterious death has taken a dramatic turn, with all evidence pointing towards Sonny Corinthos as the prime suspect. The circumstances surrounding Natalia's demise are deeply suspicious. She was found dead in her Metro Court hotel room from an apparent overdose of pills and alcohol. But not before one of Sonny's guards was seen monitoring her movements as preparations were made to send her to Belize. Anna, who once maintained a complex but respectful relationship with Sonny due to their mutual understanding of operating on opposite sides of the law, now finds herself in the impossible position of having to arrest the man who had become an unlikely ally. The mounting evidence is damning. Marco Rios, Natalia's son, has already pointed the finger directly at Sonny, telling Anna and Detective Harrison Chase that he believes the mob boss murdered his mother. The tragic irony is that Sonny genuinely wanted to help Natalia by offering her a fresh start in Belize, away from the legal troubles stemming from her DUI and potential cooperation with authorities. However, his decision to cut ties with her at the last moment, abandoning her just when she thought they might have a romantic future together, created the perfect storm for her psychological breakdown. Natalia's final hours, a spiral into darkness. Eva Luru's powerful final performance as Natalia showcased a woman completely unraveling. After Sonny's rejection, she descended into a dangerous combination of alcohol and prescription medication, texting incoherent messages to her son Marco before losing consciousness in her hotel room. Her death, while appearing to be a suicide or accidental overdose, has created the perfect opportunity for Sonny's enemies to exploit. The circumstances make Sonny appear guilty. He had clear motive to silence Natalia permanently, as she possessed incriminating evidence against him and was being pressured by ADA Justine Turner to cooperate with authorities. From an outsider's perspective, having Natalia killed and staging it as a suicide would eliminate a major threat to his criminal empire. Sidwell's masterful manipulation. Behind the scenes, the mysterious and dangerous Jen Sidwell has been orchestrating a campaign of psychological warfare against Sonny that extends far beyond simple territorial disputes. Sidwell's arrival in Port Charles has coincided with a series of increasingly bold attacks on Sonny's family and business interests. From the penthouse explosion that critically injured Michael Corinthos to the recent firebombing of Charlie's pub that nearly killed Christina. Most cunningly, Sidwell has been manipulating events to frame others for his crimes. The Charlie's pub bombing was carried out using Selena Wu's associates, forcing her to flee Port Charles when the evidence pointed back to her organization rather than Sidwell's. This same pattern of misdirection now appears to be at play with Natalia's death, creating a situation where Sonny becomes the obvious suspect while the real orchestrator remains hidden in the shadows. Sidwell's strategy represents a sophisticated understanding of psychological warfare. Rather than engaging in direct confrontation, he has been systematically dismantling Sonny's support network and turning potential allies against him. The timing of Natalia's death, just as Anna was beginning to question her loyalties and reconsider her relationship with Sonny, suggests a level of planning that goes far beyond coincidence. The prison trap, a death sentence waiting. If Anna proceeds with Sonny's arrest, the mob boss will find himself in an extremely vulnerable position. Pentonville Penitentiary is not a safe haven for someone with Sonny's reputation and enemies. The confined environment would make him an easy target for assassination attempts, particularly if Sidwell has connections within the prison system or the resources to hire inmates willing to carry out a hit. The irony is devastating. Sonny, who has survived countless attempts on his life through 3 decades of mob warfare, could meet his end not in a dramatic shootout or car bombing, but trapped in a cell, unable to defend himself or call upon his usual protection. Prison represents the ultimate vulnerability for someone who has built his entire existence around controlling his environment and having multiple escape routes. Recent storylines have already demonstrated Sonny's increasing fragility. His heart surgery earlier this year showed him at his most vulnerable, and there were attempts on his life even in the hospital setting. Prison would amplify these vulnerabilities exponentially, creating an environment where Sidwells' assassins could strike with relative impunity. Maurice Benard's potential farewell. The confluence of these storylines has led many fans to speculate that this could represent Maurice Benard's exit from General Hospital after 32 years. Benard has been increasingly open about his desire to focus on his mental health advocacy work through his YouTube series State of Mind, and he has hinted at potential retirement from the demanding schedule of daytime television. Recent episodes have shown subtle signs that Sonny's story might be building toward a conclusion. The character has been talking more frequently about leaving the mob life behind and has shown increasing vulnerability both physically and emotionally. His recent conversations with deceased father Mike Corbin in dreams or visions could be interpreted as the show preparing viewers for a character's final journey. If Benard is indeed planning to leave the show, having Sonny die in prison either through Sidwell's machinations or as a consequence of the legal system finally catching up with his decades of criminal activity will provide a dramatically satisfying conclusion to one of soap opera's most complex anti-heroes. It would also avoid the need for recasting, allowing the character's legacy to remain intact. The domino effect on Port Charles. Sonny's potential death would create seismic shifts throughout Port Charles that would reverberate for years to come. His criminal organization would face a power vacuum that Sidwell appears eager to fill, potentially leading to increased violence and instability in the community. Family members like Carly, Michael, and Christina would have to navigate their grief while also dealing with the practical implications of inheriting his empire and its associated dangers. The legal ramifications alone would be staggering. Years of covered-up crimes and protected witnesses could suddenly become exposed, leading to arrests and prosecutions that might extend far beyond Sonny's immediate circle. Characters like Jason Morgan, who has served as Sonny's enforcer and partner, would face their own reckonings with law enforcement. A legacy measured in decades. Whether Sonny survives this latest crisis or falls victim to Sidwell's elaborate trap, the current storyline represents a pivotal moment in General Hospital's history. For more than 3 decades, Sonny Corinthos has been the show's moral center, a character who operated outside the law but maintained his own code of ethics, protecting family and innocent civilians while ruthlessly eliminating threats to those he loved. Maurice Benard's portrayal brought unprecedented depth to the role of a television mobster, incorporating his own experiences with bipolar disorder to create a character who was simultaneously dangerous and vulnerable, powerful and fragile. His potential departure would mark the end of an era not just for the character, but for the entire soap opera genre. The current storyline's resolution will determine whether Sonny Corinthos becomes another victim of Sidwell's manipulation or finds a way to expose the conspiracy before it destroys him. Either way, fans are bracing themselves for what could be the final chapter in one of daytime television's greatest character arcs. As the King of Port Charles faces his ultimate test in the form of a prison cell and the specter of death lurking in its shadows. As Anna prepares to make what could be the most difficult rest of her career, and Sidwell positions his pieces for the final move in his deadly game, viewers are witnessing what may be the beginning of the end for Sonny Corinthos, a conclusion that would forever change the landscape of General Hospital and mark the end of Maurice Benard's legendary tenure as one of soap opera's most compelling characters. Next, we will dive deep into a heart-wrenching and dramatic storyline that promises to shake the foundations of the Falconeri family. In a recently released preview clip for the episode airing on Monday, July 7th, we witness a pivotal moment as young Rocco Falconeri confronts his mother, Lulu Spencer, with a staggering question about his true origins. This isn't just a fleeting moment of childhood curiosity, it's a bombshell that threatens to unravel years of carefully guarded family secrets. Join us as we explore the emotional turmoil, hidden histories, and explosive confrontations that await in this gripping episode of General Hospital. From the shocking revelation of Britt Westburn's role in Rocco's life to the brewing tension between Lulu and Brooklyn Quartermain, we'll uncover every twist and turn with fresh perspectives and imaginative details. A shocking question that changes everything. The episode begins with an innocent yet piercing inquiry from Rocco Falconeri, a young boy whose world is about to be turned upside down. In the preview, we see Rocco staring intently at his mother, Lulu Spencer. As he asks a question no parent ever wants to hear, is Britt Westburn my real mother? This isn't just a random thought. It's a deeply unsettling doubt that has clearly been festering in Rocco's mind for some time. The camera captures the raw emotion in his eyes, a mix of confusion, desperation, and a longing for truth. For Lulu, this moment feels like a thunderclap. She's visibly shaken, her face draining of color as she struggles to process how her son could even know Britt's name in this context. Years of protecting Rocco from the convoluted details of his birth are crumbling before her eyes, and she knows there's no turning back now. Adding to the tension is the fact that Lulu had just been preparing to share some urgent family news with her ex-husband, Dante Falconeri, before Rocco interrupted with his earth-shattering question. As the scene unfolds, we can imagine Lulu's internal struggle. She's not just dealing with the emotional weight of this revelation, she's also haunted by her own past. Having spent 5 years in a coma, Lulu missed critical years of Rocco's life, leaving her feeling like she's still catching up as a mother. Now, faced with this impossible question, she senses the fragility of the bond she's fought so hard to rebuild. The stakes couldn't be higher, and as viewers, we're left on the edge of our seats, wondering if Lulu will find the strength to face this moment alone or if she'll crumble under the pressure of the past. The ghost of Britt Westburn haunts the present. Rocco's mention of Britt Westburn isn't just a name drop, it's a grenade thrown into the heart of the Falconeri family dynamics. For those who've followed General Hospital over the years, Britt's name conjures memories of deception, heartbreak, and morally gray decisions. In this episode, we see Lulu grappling with how to explain Britt's role in Rocco's life without shattering his sense of identity. As Rocco presses for answers, demanding to know if Lulu is truly the woman who gave birth to him, we can sense the weight of history bearing down on this fragile moment. Lulu's hesitation speaks volumes. She knows that once the truth is out, there's no way to protect Rocco from the complicated web of lies and pain that surrounds his origins. Imagine, for a moment, the backstory unfolding in Lulu's mind as she stands there, frozen. Years ago, in a twisted turn of events, Britt became entangled in a surrogacy plot involving a stolen embryo, a scheme orchestrated by forces beyond Lulu and Dante's control. This wasn't a simple medical arrangement. It was a betrayal that left deep scars on everyone involved. Britt, though no longer a physical presence in Port Charles, casts a long shadow over this family, her actions echoing through time to haunt Rocco's understanding of who he is. As Lulu stammers through her response, we can almost hear her unspoken thoughts. How do you explain to a child that their very existence is tied to such a dark chapter? This episode promises to peel back the layers of this long-buried secret, revealing not just the facts but the emotional toll it has taken on everyone. A desperate plea for answers and a blocked call. In a moment of sheer panic, Lulu reaches for her phone, her trembling fingers fumbling as she declares she's calling Dante. She's not ready to face this alone, and who could blame her? The weight of Rocco's questions is too much for one person to bear, especially when she knows the full story will require both parents to navigate the fallout. But Rocco isn't having it. With a determination far beyond his years, he steps forward, blocking her attempt to delay the conversation. "Mom, just tell me what's happening," he pleads, his voice cracking with emotion. It's clear that Rocco isn't just asking for answers, he's demanding them, refusing to wait another second for the truth about his origins to be revealed. This tense exchange is more than just a power struggle between mother and son. It's a poignant reflection of Rocco's growing independence. Picture him standing there, small but resolute, his eyes burning with a need to understand his place in the world. For Lulu, this moment is a painful reminder that her little boy is no longer the toddler she remembers from before her coma. He's growing into a young man who won't accept half-truths or evasions. As the camera lingers on their faces, we can feel the heartbreak of a mother losing control of a narrative she's tried so hard to protect. This scene sets the stage for an emotional reckoning that will resonate with viewers, reminding us of the delicate balance between shielding our loved ones and trusting them with the truth. The source of the secret, Brooklyn's betrayal. As the conversation spirals, Lulu desperately tries to uncover how Rocco even stumbled upon this information. Her suspicions are confirmed when Rocco mentions a file belonging to Brooklyn Quartermania collection of documents that includes not one, but two birth certificates, along with a tangle of confusing details. The revelation hits Lulu like a freight train. Her shock quickly morphs into barely contained fury as she realizes that Brooklyn, someone she once considered an ally, has exposed her son to this painful truth without so much as a warning. The betrayal cuts deep, especially considering the timing. Lulu has already endured so much closing years of her life to a coma, rebuilding her relationship with Rocco, and navigating the complexities of co-parenting with Dante. Now, to have this secret unearthed by an outsider feels like a personal attack. Let's imagine the contents of that file in vivid detail: yellowed papers with official stamps, handwritten notes scribbled in haste, and legal jargon that a child like Rocco couldn't possibly decipher on his own. Perhaps Brooklyn had been researching family histories for a personal project, and aware of the Pandora's box she was opening. Or maybe her intentions weren't so innocent. Could this be a calculated move to stir drama within the Falconeri family? Whatever her motives, the consequences are undeniable. Lulu's rage simmers just beneath the surface as she reassures Rocco that she is, without a doubt, his biological mother, and that Dante is his biological father. Yet, even as she speaks these words, we can sense her mind racing with plans for retribution. Brooklyn may have thought she was simply sharing information, but in Lulu's eyes, this is an unforgivable breach of trust. Unpacking the truth, a complicated legacy. As the episode progresses, we anticipate that Rocco will learn the full scope of his urgency, a story far more intricate than he could have imagined. The truth about the stolen embryo and Britt's role as a surrogate under bizarre and ethically murky circumstances will come to light, leaving Rocco to grapple with a reality that challenges everything he thought he knew about his family. Picture him sitting on the couch, his young face etched with confusion as Lulu and, eventually, Dante attempt to piece together a narrative that feels more like a soap opera plot than real life. The pain of this revelation isn't just in the facts themselves, it's in the realization that his parents have kept this from him for so long. Adding to the complexity is Rocco's inevitable resentment. Even as Dante steps in to provide clarity, offering a father's perspective on the choices they made to protect him, Rocco can't help but feel betrayed. The trust that once bound this family feels fractured, and we can imagine the lingering silences, the awkward glances, as they all navigate this new dynamic. For Lulu, the challenge is twofold. Not only must she rebuild Rocco's faith in her as a mother, but she must also channel her anger toward Brooklyn into something productive. According to spoilers, Brooklyn will face consequences for her actions, and we can only speculate on what form Lulu's retribution will take. Will it be a heated confrontation at the Quartermain mansion, or a more calculated move to expose Brooklyn's own secrets? One thing is certain, this storyline is far from over. The fallout and what lies ahead. As the dust settles on this explosive episode, the Falconeri family finds themselves at a crossroads. Rocco's journey to understand his identity is just beginning, and the emotional scars of this revelation will likely shape his relationships for years to come. For Lulu and Dante, the challenge is to repair the trust they've lost while confronting the external force like Brooklyn that threatened to tear their family apart. Imagine the late-night conversations between Lulu and Dante as they strategize how to move forward, each wrestling with their own guilt and fears about what this means for their son's future. The road ahead won't be easy, but it's a testament to the strength of this family that they're willing to face it head-on. Next, we will delve into the brewing storms threatening to upend the romantic landscape of Port Charles. According to the latest spoilers, 3 couples are teetering on the edge of disaster, their relationships at risk of crumbling under the weight of secrets, betrayals, and calculated schemes. From heartfelt marriages to budding engagements, no bond is safe as tensions rise and hidden truths surface. In this detailed exploration, we'll uncover the intricate dynamics at play for Harrison Chase and Brooklyn Quartermain, Curtis Ashford and Portia Robinson, and Drew Kane and Willow Tate. With fresh perspectives, imaginative additions, and a deep dive into each couple's struggles, let's brace ourselves for the emotional roller coaster that awaits in General Hospital's upcoming episodes. Chase and Brooklyn, a marriage under siege. Harrison Chase and Brooklyn Quartermain have long been a beacon of love and stability in Port Charles, their marriage a testament to resilience amid chaos. However, dark clouds are gathering on the horizon as a recent misstep by Brooklyn threatens to unravel everything they've built. The trouble began when Brooklyn inadvertently exposed a devastating secret. Rocco Falconeri discovered through her files that Britt Westburn played a pivotal role in his birth. This revelation has ignited a firestorm with Lulu Spencer, who is now seething with anger over Brooklyn's carelessness. Lulu, known for her fierce protective instincts, had hoped to shield Rocco from this painful truth, and now she feels betrayed by someone she once trusted. Imagine the scene at the Quartermain mansion as Lulu confronts Brooklyn, her voice trembling with rage while Brooklyn struggles to justify her actions. Initially, Brooklyn had considered retaliating against Lulu for past dramas involving Giovanni Joe Palmieri, but she backed off too late, as Rocco had already glimpsed the incriminating documents. Now, Lulu seems determined to exact revenge, and what better target than Brooklyn's cherished marriage to chase? Spoilers suggest Lulu might orchestrate a cunning plan to sow discord, perhaps by planting doubts in Chase's mind about his wife's loyalty or judgment. Chase himself is unlikely to take kindly to Brooklyn's role in fracturing Dante Falcone's relationship with his son, Rocco. Picture Chase pacing their shared home, wrestling with disappointment as he questions how Brooklyn could let such a sensitive matter spiral out of control. Between Lulu's potential sabotage and the existing strain over the Brit research, this couple's once solid foundation is showing cracks that could lead to a heartbreaking split. Curtis and Portia, a union undermined by insecurity. Another couple on the brink of collapse is Curtis Ashford and Portia Robinson, whose marriage is being tested by suspicion and manipulation. Portia has become consumed by the fear that Jordan Ashford, Curtis's ex, still harbors feelings for him and is determined to rekindle their past romance. This paranoia has driven Portia to desperate measures, crafting schemes to ensure Curtis remains firmly by her side. However, her actions are a double-edged sword, threatening to backfire spectacularly. Instead of securing her husband's devotion, Portia's web of deception and gamesmanship could push Curtis straight back into Jordan's orbit, dismantling the life they fought to create together. Envision Portia late at night, poring over old photos of Curtis and Jordan, her mind racing with worst-case scenarios as she devises yet another plan to keep them apart. Perhaps she's spreading subtle rumors around Port Charles, painting Jordan as a homewrecker, or arranging coincidental encounters to test Curtis's loyalty. But each lie she tells adds another layer of distrust, and Curtis, ever perceptive, may start to sense that something is amiss. Spoilers hint that Portia's machinations will be her undoing, as the very tactics meant to protect her marriage could alienate Curtis entirely. Picture a heated argument in their sleek, modern living room, with Curtis demanding honesty while Portia scrambles to cover her tracks. The emotional stakes are high, and as viewers, we can't help but wonder if this couple will survive the fallout of Portia's insecurities or if their love will become another casualty of Port Charles's relentless drama. Drew and Willow, a proposal fraught with peril. While not yet married, Drew Kane and Willow Tate are on a collision course with heartbreak as their engagement faces mounting obstacles. Drew's heart soared when Willow accepted his proposal, and he's been eagerly mapping out their future as husband and wife, envisioning a grand wedding to celebrate their union. But storm clouds are gathering, casting doubt on whether they'll even make it to the altar. Michael Corinthos, Willow's ex and a significant figure in her life, looms as a potential disruptor. Spoilers suggest Michael might leverage his influence, offering Willow visitation rights with their children on the condition that she halts wedding plans at least temporarily. This ultimatum could force Willow into an agonizing decision, torn between her love for Drew and her longing to remain connected to her past. Even if the nuptials proceed, danger lurks in the shadows of Drew's hidden past. Imagine the wedding day, set in a picturesque Port Charles garden with white roses adorning every corner, only for whispers of Drew's dark secrets to begin circulating among the guests. Willow, radiant in her gown, remains unaware of the storm brewing, but it's only a matter of time before the truth crashes down. Perhaps it's during the reception, as they share their first dance, that a mysterious figure, maybe a scorned business associate or a bitter ex, drops a bombshell about Drew's misdeeds. Spoilers warn that Willow will eventually uncover the extent of Drew's concealed actions, including his scandalous history with Nina Reeves as a hookup partner. The revelation, whether it strikes on their wedding day or in the tender early months of marriage, promises to shatter Willow's trust. Picture her sitting alone in their new home, tears streaming as she grapples with the betrayal, wondering if the man she pledged her life to is truly who she thought he was. Fans are buzzing with anticipation over how Willow will react to Drew's duplicity, particularly the Nina connection, setting the stage for explosive conflict in upcoming episodes. The ripple effects across Port Charles. As these three relationships teeter on the edge, the implications extend far beyond the couples themselves, threatening to reshape the social fabric of Port Charles. For Chase and Brooklyn, the fallout from Lulu's vengeance could ignite a broader feud within the Quartermaine and Falconeri families, drawing in allies and enemies alike. Imagine holiday gatherings at the Quartermaine estate turning into battlegrounds, with pointed barbs and icy glares replacing festive cheer. Meanwhile, Curtis and Portia's unraveling marriage might reignite old sparks with Jordan, complicating dynamics at the hospital and among mutual friends who are forced to pick sides. Picture tense encounters at Kelly's diner, where whispered conversations about Curtis's romantic entanglements become the town's hottest gossip. Drew and Willow's potential collapse carries its own set of shockwaves, especially considering Michael's involvement and the custody arrangements at stake. Envision a courtroom showdown, with Willow caught between her heart and her children's future, while Drew watches helplessly as his dreams slip away. The revelation of his past with Nina could also drag other characters into the fray, perhaps prompting Nina to confront Willow or Michael to exploit the situation for his own gain. Each of these storylines intertwines with the others, creating a tapestry of heartbreak and intrigue that promises to keep viewers glued to their screens. The romantic overhaul in Port Charles isn't just about individual couples, it's a seismic shift that will test loyalties, unearth buried resentments, and redefine relationships for seasons to come. What's next for these star-crossed lovers? As we look ahead, the looming blow-ups of these relationships are poised to deliver some of General Hospital's most gripping moments yet. Will Chase and Brooklyn find a way to mend the fractures in their marriage, or will Lulu's thirst for revenge prove too destructive? Can Curtis and Portia overcome the mistrust that threatens to tear them apart, or is a reunion with Jordan inevitable? And for Drew and Willow, will their love survive the secrets waiting to be uncovered, or will their journey to the altar end in devastation? Spoilers from ABC General Hospital hint at intense drama on the horizon, with each couple facing trials that will challenge their bonds like never before. Picture the upcoming episodes as a chessboard, with each character maneuvering for position, some out of love, others out of spite. The emotional stakes are higher than ever, and as the residents of Port Charles navigate this romantic upheaval, we're in for a masterclass in soap opera storytelling. So, keep your eyes peeled for every twist and turn, and join us here at ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel for all the latest updates and insights. Whether it's a wedding gone awry, a marriage shattered by betrayal, or a love story fighting to survive, we'll be with you every step of the way. Thank you for tuning in today, and we'll see you soon with more tantalizing spoilers from the heart of Port Charles.